your holistic nutrition guide for a better life. When I say that I'm a holistic nutritionist, I mean that I look at things as a whole and that I take into account every aspect of a person's life in order to give them nutrition advice. I don't just isolate food from everything else. So here is my guide on how you can use holistic nutrition to improve your life and live a healthier, more balanced life. And also, I'm gonna give you the stuff that you should not be doing that other holistic coaches or nutritionists say that you should. What is holistic nutrition? Holistic nutrition is this approach to healthy eating that does not reduce healthy eating to just the food that you eat, but rather looks at you as a whole, like the individual as a whole, and takes into account like a multitude of factors, from like your lifestyle, your physical activity levels, your sleep levels, your stress levels, the kinds of foods that you like and dislike, your health history, your emotional state, both in regards to food and in general. So the goal is to create healthy eating habits, of course, but also to create a healthy relationship with food and to make sure that you are well balanced and healthy and happy in all aspects of your life. In holistic nutrition, food isn't just seen as an energy source, but it's also a way to actually heal your body and help you feel good and help comfort you and just deal with a lot of different things. In general, holistic nutrition has the goal to reduce anything processed or unnatural in favor of whole foods and more natural foods. And while I get that aspect and it's one aspect to focus on, yes, it's not the only thing. And for me, in order for your eating to be holistic, you also need to focus on having a bunch of foods that bring you pleasure and satisfaction and comfort and satisfy your cravings, and doing other things that make you feel good as a whole. For me, that's really the most important aspect. So now, how can you actually practice holistic nutrition? The first thing you need to do is that you need to focus on creating balanced meals. Balance is really the key word here. You need to make a difference in your mind between healthy, what your idea of health is, so like foods like salads or vegetables or like very lean protein. Everybody sees these foods as healthy, but in order for your diet to be balanced, you need to include other foods as well as these. Your diet can't just rely on that. You need to make sure that you're eating a bunch of whole grains, a bunch of beans, legumes, lots of fruit as well as vegetables, and that you are also adding foods that you really enjoy and that really satisfy you and satisfy your cravings, all to create a balanced meal. It's a good idea that you focus on mainly whole foods, so foods that haven't been too processed. If you're able to choose the whole version of the fruit instead of the fruit juice, or if you're able to buy veggies, whole veggies, instead of getting like ready-made soups or things like that. And frozen fruit and veggies count as fresh whole foods too. The idea is that if you're focusing on these foods and if you're making sure that you're getting plenty of these foods, then you're gonna have less room to eat really processed, high in fat, high in sugar, high in salt foods. You also need to practice mindful eating. Again, a very recurring thing in a lot of my videos because it is so important. Mindful eating involves being hyper aware of the foods that you are eating, being really focused on your meal experience without any distractions, being able to taste the different aspects of the food, taking your time to chew, making sure that you're giving yourselves breaks, and also making sure that you're really in tune with your internal body signals, making sure that you're listening to your hunger and fullness cues. So when your body starts telling you that it's hungry, eat. When your body starts telling you that it's full, stop eating. It sounds very simple when you say it like that, but it's actually very hard because in our current day-to-day life, we are really turned away from mindfulness in general and then mindful eating. So it really requires work to get more into mindful eating, but to me, it's work that's absolutely worth it. And if you want to learn more about it, I have an entire playlist on mindful eating and intuitive eating with a bunch of tips that you can check out here or in the description. Be gentle with yourself on your holistic journey. Now, this is very important. Remember that you are human and you are going to make mistakes, and your progression is not going to be linear. It's going to be filled with ups and downs, and that's totally okay. A tip that I like to give my clients is that you should treat yourself the same way that you would treat a child, because first of all, children have this innate ability to know what their body needs and to listen to their wants and desires, and then it's society that kind of drives them away from that. So you need to try to reconnect with this inner child of yours. And also, when you are talking to a child, when you're like addressing a child, you know that they are here to learn and grow and make mistakes. That's part of the process. You're going to be kind with them. You're going to be patient, understanding. Hopefully, most of you are going to be like that when you're around kids, and that's the way that you should be with yourself. If you're able to treat yourself gently and with care and to be okay with making mistakes along the way, then you are going to be able to tune into your body's cues much easier. Working on your relationship with food is also super important. Food should be seen as both fuel and pleasure. So that means that you should see the value of foods beyond the calories that they provide, beyond the macronutrients and everything like that. And yes, that's an important aspect. Don't get me wrong. You do need to be looking at these things, but that's not it. You need to fuel both your body and your soul. The goal is that you will learn to choose healthy and balanced food options because they make you feel good and because you're able to have a variety of different foods without feeling restricted, rather than choosing foods just because in your mind you think that they are going to be good for you, or even worse, because you're scared of a bunch of other foods. You need to realize that every single food item can offer benefits, and some are going to be more in the nutrient side and the wellness aspect and health aspect, and for others it's going to be more in the energy aspect or in the comforting aspect or in the satisfaction aspect. So all of these are important. Food shouldn't be your obsession. You should exist outside of that. Of course, it's important to think about the foods that you eat and to try to eat as balanced as possible, but you should never be spending hours upon hours trying to figure out the perfect meal or trying to see if you're doing the right thing or eating the right thing and doing all of these like perfect things in regards to eating. And I do understand that when you're first embarking on this healthy eating journey, if you're getting into holistic nutrition, it may take up a lot of your time. That's normal because there is some learning to do, probably a lot of unlearning to do as well. So it's gonna take up some time, and that's fine. But the goal in the end is for your relationship with food to become natural, and so yeah, that you don't need to be spending hours upon hours obsessing over anything nutrition related. Prioritize your own individual needs. Now this is super important because you read a lot of things about nutrition and you watch videos and you do all these things and you get this advice that is kind of one size fits all, but that's not what holistic nutrition is about. Like I talked about a little bit earlier, you need to take into account every aspect of your life. And this is why I don't like to give out like meal plans. And this is why I don't recommend that you follow something that was just made as like a one size fits all thing. I think that you really, really need to tune into your own goals, your own body, your own life, your own lifestyle, everything, and find the solutions that work for you, that are adapted to your needs. And obviously it's not super easy to do that on your own. So I do offer nutrition consultations if you are interested. I do video consultations for 1 hour where we basically talk about all of this and address all of your issues and see the solutions that we can find for all of your specific needs. And then we create some goals that we set and that I help you follow. And we always adapt to whatever doesn't work. We adapt, we work around it, and that's the way that nutrition should be. So if you want more information on my consultations, make sure to check out the link in the description for that. Practice holistic living in other things than food. The thing about holistic nutrition is that it encompasses more than just nutrition. And so you need to make sure that aside from all of these kind of nutrition habits that we talked about, you're also focusing on other things to make you a healthy, happy, thriving human. So make sure that you are looking to have a healthy sleep schedule. Make sure that you are doing good levels of physical activity, but also that you are enjoying the physical activity that you're doing. And it's the same thing as food. You need to find some pleasure with it, because if you're just like running, even if you hate it, it's never gonna last and you're gonna see it as a punishment. It's also important to stay away as much as possible from a stressful environment. And if you do have a stressful environment and that you can't get rid of the stressor, it's something that is beyond your control, then you need to make sure that you're finding things to release that stress. Things other than food. Make sure that you're doing things like meditating, reading, listening to music, taking walks, speaking to people you love, all these things that can set your mind a little bit at peace and that can make you have moments for yourself where you relax. Now, here are the tips that you should not follow. Holistic nutrition is kind of a big umbrella term. The way that I see it, I just described to you, but other people see it as this kind of purity culture thing where you have to be super pure and get rid of anything unnatural and focus on everything like anything that's like organic and very natural. And that is not at all the way that I see things. So let me tell you, some of these things can be a little bit dangerous. So I'm going to tell you what you should not be doing. First of all, you should not be going on any kind of detoxes that a lot of holistic nutritionists like to promote, saying that our bodies are filled with toxins because there's so many toxic things in our environment. Your body has natural detoxifiers, your liver, your kidneys. It's gonna do just fine if you eat healthy, balanced meals like I talked about previously, if you drink plenty of water, if you get enough sleep, exercise, all of that is gonna be fine. Please don't take these detoxes that can be actually very dangerous, promote super quick loss of water and fluids and dehydrate you, cause like diarrhea and pain, and you just do not want to do that. Along those lines, you'll also probably see recommendations to eat only natural foods, only natural ingredients, and they have this thing where they say only eat the ingredients that you can pronounce, no pesticides, organic, all of that. And I have an entire video on organic foods and pesticides. If you're interested, if you want to learn more about that, you can check out here. But in short, organic foods aren't more nutritious than conventionally grown products, and they're not even significantly safer, and they are more expensive usually, and they can prevent people from eating as many fruit and vegetables as they would, because they're scared into thinking that they only should buy organic and that the rest is bad. So don't go down that road. Choose organic if you have the means to do so, if that's what you prefer, but do not be afraid of conventionally grown fruit and veggies. The benefits far outweigh the cons. Also, some nutritionists may recommend the use of supplements. It's a big thing in the holistic world. They tell you you have to eat all natural and then take all of these not natural supplements. So hopefully you don't fall into that trap, and it's just like a money trap, and you do not need to be eating supplements in most cases. It's totally fine to need one specific thing here and there. You can talk to your doctor or your nutritionist about that, but you don't need to be eating a bunch of supplements that are super expensive that you can easily get from foods if you're eating the balanced diet that I talked about earlier. And finally, even if I'm the first to say that holistic nutrition is great, do not use it as a replacement for medicine. Do not fall into this category of people that think that you can cure yourself from any disease with food. Yes, food is a great way to help your body heal and to prevent disease in the first place, but I like to use holistic nutrition as a way to complement medicine, and it should never be something that you replace it with. That's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like it and subscribe, and see you on my next one. Bye.